Good morning, Mad About Yarners. How are you all this morning? I'm going to have a little bit of a rant about Game of Wool, and then I'm going to talk to you about why I was inspired. Because I didn't think it was that bad, if I'm honest. And I feel like I have to say, in a quiet corner, actually, do you know what? I enjoyed it. Because everywhere I've looked, all the comments have been about how rubbish it was. Well, surely something showcasing our knitting and crocheting craft's got to be good. It doesn't matter how bad it is. Somebody's going to look at that program and go, "Do you know what? I might have a go," because I thought some of the projects were really, really inspirational, and I thought they really gave me lots of ideas for projects that I might want to do later. Not all of them, because I don't think I'd fancy covering a sofa, but some of the others I thought were great. So before I get on to what inspired me, let's just have a think about this Game of Wool, Britain's Best Knitter. If you've not seen it, I think you can still get it on catch up. The last post I saw was like, just finished it and I'm relieved it's over. Well, if it was that bad, why did you bother watching it all the way to the end? If it was that bad, you can turn it off. I actually really look forward to it every week, and I'll tell you why. It wasn't perfect by any means, was it? The host, loved Tom Daley, really, gold medalist diver, does a bit of knitting as well. But as a host, probably didn't quite hit the grade. Somebody with a bit more charisma, I think, would have made it a little bit more palatable to watch. And a bit warmer as well. I was really disappointed when I think one of the candidates was crying and another one was really upset because it had gone wrong. And he was like nowhere to be seen, really, to, comforting arm and just make them feel better. And when he did speak to them, it was all of that scripted about, looking after yourself and you're perfect and you're brilliant no matter what you like. But there wasn't much warmth there. So I thought that could have been better. But he did make me laugh out loud in the very first challenge, which was to create a slipover with a Fair Isle pattern. And the contestants are all sitting listening, and he said, and we've got somebody really special coming to try on the garments once you've finished. And you could see their eyes like, oh, great. And then he went, it's me. And the look of disappointment on their faces made me laugh out loud, and my other half, because he said, who is this chap? So I thought that was funny. And what else? There was a few tumbleweed moments, wasn't there? When he was talking to them when they were in the middle of doing this, crafting their knitting like crazy because they've only got an hour to go. And then he asked them a question, and then there's complete silence because they're counting the rows or counting their stitches. So I think it needed somebody with a bit more just a bit more warmth and a bit more knowledge about when to talk to people and when not to talk to people, and what to ask and how to encourage the answers so that we didn't have the tumbleweed moments. But all of that said, oh, the judges as well, that was the other thing. A little bit suspect, I thought. They could have had a bit more oomph. They were lovely and obviously brilliant in their fields. But I thought the judging was a little bit suspect, and I think Ailsa should have won for me. But anyway, that's okay. I think the range of contestants was fabulous. I thought they represented all of us. I thought that was great. And they all had their skill levels were really excellent, and some of them hadn't crocheted before, and yet they were still having a go. And for me, that's what our craft is about. It's about having a go. My kids afterwards, I mean, I've got two grown-up boys, 23 and 25, and my 23-year-old said, Mum, can you show me how to crochet? Because he sat and watched one with me. Or knit, he said, whichever you think is easiest. So, it achieved that. A lady down the road, she's moving house soon, but she's got grandkids. She knocked on my door because she comes and looks after our parrots. You can sometimes hear them in the background. But she knocked on the door and she said, oh, Mad, you crochet, don't you? I've just seen that Britain's Game of Wool thing, she said. Don't suppose you could show me how to crochet if you've got 5 minutes before I leave, because I wouldn't mind trying some for the grandkids. So, on that basis alone, having our knitting and crochet and anything to do with yarn showcased on national TV has got to be good for us. It means that maybe people who don't knit and yarn will go into our local shops and buy yarn. So that will keep them open, which can only be good for us as well, because I don't always want to go online and buy my yarn. I like to have a mooch around a shop on a Saturday afternoon or a Sunday. So I think for that was really good. I think some of the moans about the timeliness, that made me smile, because who of us has never had to finish something at the last minute because we've promised it for a birthday or Christmas present or whatever it is, a birth, and you get to that last bit, you've put it aside because you've gone off and done other things, and then a couple of days before or a week before you think, oh my goodness, I've still got 2 sleeves to do and I've still got to go to work and all the rest of it. So you're up till midnight knitting or crocheting and then sewing it up. So I think the timeliness thing is what sort of kept it moving. And I thought that was great. I really enjoyed it and thought it was fascinating to see how fast they actually finished. I don't think I could sit and knit for 12 hours though. I mean, I love it. I love the craft. But for 12 hours, just getting up to go and have a cup of tea, not really. I don't think it's for me. I thought the challenges were great. The sofa one made me laugh because who's going to cover a sofa with knitting? You might, of course. I've done the odd cushion cover, but I don't think I'd do a whole sofa. Really like the deck chair. I think the joint challenges were funny. The deck chair made me laugh outright. And OH, my other half, he was laughing his head off and he went, yeah, you could only do that for someone skinny. He said, because somebody chubby like him, he said, they're never going to sit on a chair like that that's been knitted or crocheted. And I went, oh yeah, they will. And he went, nah, because I think he's about 16 stone, but don't tell him I said that. But he said, no. So in terms of what I started with, which was inspiration, I said to him, all right then, I'll knit one. I'll do one. I'm not sure if I'll knit or crochet it yet. Because the other thing that inspired me was how they made their own material to work with in the challenge for the jewellery. I thought that was brilliant, and some of the things they came up with. Olga came up with I think he was using recycled plastic bags, and he made that fantastic sort of necklace. Someone used wire, somebody used material, they made their own yarn to knit with. And I thought, do you know what? It's a bit like t-shirt yarn, but I thought, do you know what? I could do that. I could do something like that. And I think that's what these programs do. And when I look in magazines or when I go to shows and I think, oh, I could do that. Not very good at any of them, but I think, oh, yeah, I could do that. So I said to OH, right, let's go and find a deck chair. Oh, excuse me, deck chair base. And then for the spring, I'm going to do one. And he was like, yeah. He says, but it won't hold me. I said, yeah, but you'll have fun trying it out, won't you? Might do it wrong on purpose just to see him land on his bottom. I was hoping Tom Daly would on one of them, but he didn't, so it was okay. One of them had quite a bit of sag. I don't know if you saw it, but the deck chairs, it's one of them old-fashioned ones that you used to get at the seaside that sort of folds up, wooden frame, and then it's got like a hammock seating bit, and they had to knit one of those and attach it to the chair so that it was firm and he wasn't supposed to touch the floor when he sat on it, because obviously you get a bit of give when you knit and crochet. So I said to him, right, I'm going to do one. I don't know why I said that. I'd had a few glasses of wine, but I'm going to do one because he's holding me to it. So I'm going to find myself a deck chair, and then I'm going to make the base. I'm going to make the material to actually knit with. What I found, because I said that to him a couple of weeks ago, been round the charity shops. I do like the charity shops to see what sort of things are in there in terms of a yarn, old jumpers that we might be able to unravel, that type of thing. So I went in to have a look and I got this lovely single duvet set, and it's reversible, so I can see that it's that sort of colour one side and then it's this green the other side, and it's a single duvet cover, and yeah, it is a single, and it's got a pillowcase with it. So what I'm going to do is I'm going to make this into strips, and I'm going to use this to make my deck chair hammock. bit for him to sit on, and then I'm going to video him trying it. So that should be funny. 'Cause like I say, I might do it wrong on purpose, a bit loose, and see him land on his bottom, but I don't think I will. We'll see how it goes. I'm going to try and do it properly. Don't know how I'm going to do it. But it's something for me to think about. And we put the deck chairs out. We usually put our chairs out around Easter. So I've got between now and then to have a go. So if nothing else, that programme has inspired me to try something that's going to make us smile. And I'm going to have fun figuring out how to do it. So if you've got any ideas on how I do this, put your comments in the comment section. And if you've tried something like this, let me know, how did it go? And if you watched Game of War and you tried any of the projects, or you tried to do something, you know, a hat or whatever, or it inspired you to try something different, let me know in the comments, how did it go? But yeah, so I got this for £5, by the way, £5 from a charity shop. Thought it was brilliant. It's 100% cotton, I think it is, washable. And I think I'm going to try and do it so that I can actually take it off and wash it and then put it back on. So that should be fun. I'll let you know how I get on, and I'll show you my progress. And I will show you definitely when we test it. So he said he wants to test it on the lawn just in case he does end up on the floor. He don't want to end up on the concrete. So that should be funny. What else did I think about what else did it inspire me to do? There was complaints about the inaccuracies. And I thought that was a little bit silly because it's all free advertising. So the lads and lasses up in Shetland who I think had a bit of a gripe about Fair Isle not being shown properly. I can't remember what it was now. When I was watching it, I said to OH, oh, do you know what? We should go up to the Shetland Isles because I've never been. I'd really like to see where it started and have a look at some of the original work up there and maybe bring some yarn back and that. So if nothing else, it's free advertising, whether it's good or bad, it's free advertising. So I would just take it, and then you can show us how it should be done and what it should be called when I go up there. So that'd be good. And actually my lad, who's interested in having a go at crocheting or knitting, he said, oh mum, can I come? So that's 3 of us if nobody else comes up. But I really enjoyed it, and I think it was inspirational in that the projects did make me think, oh, do you know what? I might have a go at that, and I might have a go at that. One of the things I did, so I have a pattern of the month, and I thought when the programme finished, because I wasn't going to comment on the programme at all, but I've just seen so many that are negative, and I thought, do you know what, actually, it was really good that our craft was showcased. It might not have been perfect, and it might have been a bit of lazy programme making on their part, but it did showcase our yarn, and I did enjoy it, and I enjoyed the challenges, and it's made me think about things that I might want to do. So I know I've already said that, but I have a pattern of the month. So for January, I decided I was going to do a slip over because I don't wear them very often. In fact, I've not worn one since I was a kid because my mum used to make me wear one. Me and my sister, she worked in hosiery, so she used to come back with seconds, and me and my sister, because we didn't have a lot of money, always ended up with seconds in cardigans, and she was a buttonhole, my mum, so I always had buttons everywhere. But I remember her bringing these tank tops, as we used to call them, home, knitted, and mine was like a blush pink and Lisa's was a pale blue. And then she burnt it with the iron, but she still made me wear it to school. So it put me off wearing tank tops forever. But that aside, when I saw this, I thought, do you know what, might have a go. It just sort of keeps you warm when it's cold out and that. So I found one, but I decided to crochet it because I was in my crochet phase. So I found this King Cole pattern. Well, I didn't find this one, actually. I had it in my stash because I actually, when I first started crocheting, I bought it for that cardigan because I don't like showing my arms. So I thought, oh, I'll do that. And as the second option, it had this crocheted, it's all trebles, this crocheted slip over. So I thought that was nice. It's King Cole 3092 if you're interested, and it's double knit, and it goes from a 32 to a 46 inch bust, or 81 to 117 centimetres bust. I don't know if you can still get it because I've had it a fair few years now. So I thought, right, I'll try that. So I decided to use a double knitting called Elegant by Knitco. Don't know if you've seen that brand. You can get it on eBay. It's not a super expensive brand, but the quality is really good. And I used this sort of purple and green colourway, and I ended up with this. I'm going to go back and back and back and back and back so you can see it. There you go. What do you think? So I'm really pleased with it. That's the front. And that's the back. So this is the biggest size, and obviously I thought, oh yeah, that'd be nice because it's supposed to be sort of fair, you know, fitted but not too fitted. But it's still a little bit tight, so still sort of suffering from my Christmas and New Year overindulgence. As I can't wear it yet. I was hoping to wear it at the weekend, but really pleased with it. I decided to do the different colour edging just to break it up a little bit. It is double knitting, but it's quite thick, and the pattern's really lovely. And what I like about knitting, I'll just finish off on this actually. What I like about knitting and crocheting is when you get a stitch, this looks completely different to this. So the same stitch, really sort of defined in that in a plain colour, and looks completely different in this colour with the same stitch, and you can get two different garments just by changing your yarn. So that little tip there, really like that. So that's one of the things that fascinates me about using yarn. Anyway, that's why I was inspired by Game of Wool, Britain's Best Knitter. I hope they do a second series. Really looking forward to doing my deck chair. And I am going to post my progress on this. So I think the first thing I need to do is cut this into strips. Now I think there is a way that you can cut something like this into strips so it makes one long ball, because what I'm worried about is having lots of different strips and having knots in each, and it's not something I've done before. So I'm going to have a go at that. And find myself a video on how to make one big ball without lots of knots in it. So I hope you enjoyed that and you feel a little bit inspired. One thing I did find was if you wanted to have a go at any of those projects, the slip over with the Fair Isle pattern and the hat, and I think there was something else, the Rowan website. I've got the patterns on there. I don't know if you can get just the pattern or if you have to buy the pattern and the yarn, but I just sort of stumbled across it when I was looking at it. So you can have a look at that if you want to. Anyway, I'm going to go now that I've had a little bit of a shared with you my inspiration. I hope you've enjoyed that. I've enjoyed talking about it. I just thought I'd get it off my chest, that I did enjoy the programme. Anyway, I'm going to go because I'm babbling now, aren't I? So have a great day, as always. Look after yourselves. Take care. Carry on knitting and crocheting. Tell me anything you want to tell me. And I'll see you again next time. Take care, knitters and crocheters. Bye.